And those are passive. Don't depend on passive techniques to build your business. Some stuff will happen, but you can't depend on paying your bills with passive approaches. I made another flyer for recruiters and took them and quoted an article out of USA Today about how soldiers were too fat to serve, or recruits were too fat to serve. Made up a cute little postcard type flyer. You can get this stuff done at places like, what's the one that does the cards, business cards, Instaprint. Instaprint does this stuff. And that didn't generate anything. I think it's a great idea, and I shared it with another coach I have who's down in Atlanta who's a vet. Well, he's a recent vet, came back from Afghanistan, and so he's much more in tune with recruiting and soldiers and stuff like that. It was a natural for him. So it's finding things that you want to do. I went to a professional designer, and I had this concept of making a flyer for businesses. It was professional and company wellness program. Really nice flyer. I spent a couple $100 having that developed. And the purpose of it was to be able to go to businesses and talk to them about setting up seminars for their employees. And I probably took out about 150 of those to businesses. Got nothing out of it. Now, someone else might have gotten something out of it. I don't know. For me, that didn't end up working very well. And what I decided later on was I wasn't talking to the person who could sign up or would sign up. Except a couple of cases that happened. In one case, I talked to a HR person, and she said, well, I need to get on the program. She's about 350 pounds. She only stayed on it for a month. And I thought, wow, she was young, and I felt so bad. And when she sat down, she was crying, and she said, I've tried other things, nothing's worked. Well, I can tell you, I didn't work. There were other issues involved. But what I'm saying is, if it's not giving you the results you want, then try something else. And let me show you. I'm going to go online here. Can I get online?
I don't have my wireless on.
Oh, okay.
Here.
That's okay. Go to, let me give you something. Has anyone used, it was here that last time I spoke.
Go to meeting.
Join me.
Awesome.
I'll tell you, it is such a cool tool. I use it all the time. If I've got a client out of town, I use it with them because I can get them in. So I'll give you another one. Go to bigstock.com. Bigstock.com is professional photography. It's stock photos. And there are others, but Big Stock has some great selections, and they're pretty inexpensive. And you can type in something like overweight women, overweight men, and they've got 200 photos. And a lot of them you will have seen. You'll recognize, I've seen that in ads. Like there's one that's used a lot. It's two women, both in a black bikini, standing back to back. And one of them is thin, and one of them is overweight. Probably because a lot of companies use it. And what you realize is all the brochures that Take Shape for Life has are stock photos, that they have gotten from a stock company like that. These photos are about $5. So you get it, it's $5. You can then design something that promotes the idea you want to promote with the group you want to talk to. So you decide, I like that idea of working with Harley Davidson's motorcycle riders. And so you find overweight motorcyclist or something. You can find just about anything. You put together the flyer and say, enjoy your trip, use less gas, whatever. and you go around, you meet these people, but you're tailoring it to the people that you think, I'd like to hang out with these guys. I like them. I like motorcycles. I could do this, and it's a flyer that would be useful. And it's real easy to do this stuff. When I do something like that, I typically don't put MetaFast or Take Shape for Life on it. Now, I don't have to go through compliance now because it's a piece that is promoting me as a health coach or a weight loss coach, or promoting the concept of losing weight. Once, and when I give someone a flyer, I say, hey, I'd like to give you something. They look at it from the picture. They know immediately I'm talking about weight loss. And the most common response I get is, oh, yeah, I need to do that. So, it's like it opens doors for me. And then I can talk, so tell me about it. What's going on for you? What have you tried? What have you done? And suddenly now you have a person you can talk to. And I always say to people, because I don't consider it a lead unless I get 2 items, an email and a phone number. People say, wow, how do you get that? And I say, I'll send you some information on this. I don't tell them I'm going to send them a newsletter. I used to do that. And the more typical response I would get was, oh, I don't want to sign up for anything. Because people, we all get, repeated newsletters that we'd like to opt out of and don't. But just say, yeah, I'll send you some information on this. And they give me their email, and maybe 1 out of 20 won't give me their email or doesn't have one. And then when I'm finished writing the email, I say, and what's your phone number? And maybe 1 out of 10 doesn't give me their phone number. So we're too afraid to ask for stuff. We think we might offend them. How do I ask for this? Just ask. I'm going to send you some information. And now you have a real lead because you can follow up. And you're building through intention. You see, if you're just handing something out and crossing your fingers and hoping, well, I hope they take that home and call me, I guarantee you one thing, you're thinking about it a lot more than they are.
Yeah.
If it makes it, sometimes when I give out a flyer or a card or something, and I'm someplace where I know where they are, I'll go check the wastebasket to see if it made it past the wastebasket. And frequently it doesn't. If it's not messed up, I pull it back. But the point is, be outgoing. Give your message out. Don't wait for people to come to you. Don't wait for hope people will ask you, because then you're building by accident and your income will be accidental. If you want your income to be significant, if you want to be able to replace a job, then you really have to build by intention. And that means creating something that you can do, that you will do, that works for you. And I guarantee, even if it's something that you can do and will do, there will still be days, lots of them, especially now that we're in the rainy season, when you get up and you think, oh, I don't feel like doing that today. Boss, give me a day off. Okay. And remember, you've got to be that boss. Because if you're not that boss, then you're going to cut yourself too much slack. And you want to look at this and say, if I were my own employee, if I had to pay myself, if I had to pay someone cash to do what I'm doing, would I actually hire him to do it? Good measure of your productivity and whether it's all worthwhile. So anybody have any questions on any of this stuff? Yes?
Peter, when you see somebody that you want to approach, you're very direct. How do you approach somebody in a store you've never seen before, they're obviously overweight? How do you do it in a way that is successful?
Well, it's funny, Candy. We went to Applebee's after the last meeting. And as we were walking out of the meeting, what did I do?
You walked up to a man and we started a conversation.
Who's an overweight guy. And part of the reason I did it was I just wanted to show the group. I've been talking about it, and I wanted them to see it is possible. I went up to him, and obviously overweight, and I said, hey, I've got something that might be of interest to you. And I pulled it out and gave it to him. I said, I am a specialist in helping people lose weight. And the guy was obviously overweight. And he said to me, I'm losing some weight right now. I said, great, that is super. What are you doing? And he told me a little bit about what he was doing. And then we talked more about it, and he's diabetic. And I said, well, give me your email. I'll send you some information. Gave that to him. I said, what's your phone number? And so he left with my flyer, which has my website on it. And I've got information to follow up with him. So it's really easier than you think. I mean, here's the situations I've had. I don't want to put someone in an embarrassing situation. So if they're two people together, that's a little awkward. I prefer to talk to people individually, though there are couples that I have talked to. And usually I talk to the guy, even though the spouse is also overweight. Because I talk to him about what's going on. Hey, I work with guys. I'm on a crusade. Women talk about this stuff all the time, but men don't. And that's what I let them know. It's like this is out of my control. I'm on a crusade to give this out, and so I've got to give it to you. I'm on a mission. And if you approach it like that, then it is almost kind of like, hey, if I didn't have such a hard boss, I wouldn't take the time to give this to you, but he's so demanding, I have to. Yes.
To follow up with that, have you, I've tried things like that, and some people get really angry with it. I'm sorry,
Well, hey.
they're overweight, but they don't want somebody.
If they're angry, here's the news flash. They're not customers now, so it can't get any worse. That's just the bottom line.
Have you had a lot of success with that, Peter?
Yes, I have. And I feel empowered. And here's the difference. When I was doing that company thing, I was talking to, and because I had some managers who said, oh yeah, this would be great for my employees, but they wouldn't get behind it. And so I'd call them back and say, well, no one really was interested in it, no one wanted to do it. And I wasn't talking to the user. I want to talk to the person who can say, yes, I can do this. Versus talking, I had an old sales manager years ago, and he said, a little bit, not crude, but he said, don't try to put a make on a girl by talking to her brother. And, what he meant was, you got to talk to the person who is the buyer. And if you want to talk to someone about losing weight, you don't talk to the husband about getting his wife to lose weight. That's a no-win situation.
No kidding. Sometimes when you approach a business, because the insurance companies now are big time starting to raise rates based upon the demographics of that business, that by going to HR or to the person who's purchasing the insurance for the company, they will be motivated to give you time during lunch hours with the employees, so then you are face-to-face with the
absolutely.
employees.
And when I say that it might have been the flyer that I was using, it might have been that I was going to businesses that were too small. There are a lot of reasons why what I was doing at the time didn't work, but what I realized, it got me kind of depressed. And I thought, wow, my business isn't growing. And if you're depressed, then you don't do what you were doing. You do even less, and then you get even more depressed. And so I thought, I've got to break out of this. I've got to do something that works, or I'm going to get really, and I did. I changed it, came up with something new for myself, and it's working.
I think the reason a lot of us don't do that is because it's out of our comfort zone. And we're afraid to do that, and we're afraid of being rejected. We're afraid of that person saying, no, stay away from me.
Yeah.
And we don't know that. We've already judged that person by looking at